before we got married, things were beautiful. After we got married, things took a turn. I was just drowning in debt at that point, and I did not know at that time that I was married to a narcissist. A narcissistic person taking advantage of an empathetic person. I just realized today how blessed I am. Just trust that everything will happen in God's time. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. I hope I have enough space on my phone to be filming this video because I feel like it's going to be a long one. But yeah, anyway, let's just start. I don't have anything planned for this video. I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update. To be honest, I just needed to vent to somebody so that I can start crying, so that I can feel better. Because, you know, when you're in a situation and you're around other people and you get an overwhelm of emotions and tears rush in your eyes, but you can't cry because you're around a lot of people, so you just kind of blink it away and forget about it. Well, that happened a few times in the last 2 weeks where I was feeling really overwhelmed, but I wasn't in a situation where I could express my emotions. And so, you know, when you hold things back, the longer you hold them in, the more overwhelming it becomes when they finally show themselves. So I've been feeling a little bit of overwhelm. It could also just be because I'm tired, who knows. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a life update and tell you a little bit about my story. If you have been following along my journey for a very long time, then you would know a lot of the details of my story. However, I also do have a lot of new subscribers from the United States and from South Africa. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. And I thought it would just be a great time to give you guys an update and also to vent, you know, because I just need somebody to vent to. I will also link my last life update video that I did a few months ago, and the one before that. I'll link it in the description below. So yeah, let's just get started. I have just been feeling really overwhelmed lately, and it's because I realized a few things. You know, when I was traveling last week, we were driving a lot of long distances, and sometimes when we're driving like that, I would just sit and reflect and think about things about my life, about things that I've been through. And yeah, I just realized that where I am today, the point in my life where I am today, I am, like, I've always said this, you know, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, even if it doesn't feel ideal at that moment in time. Let me explain something to you. Let's take it back to high school. Let's take it back to high school. In high school, I was a straight A student. I loved studying. I especially loved sciences. But I was determined to get A's in all of my subjects. I love in all of my subjects. And but I was also a teenager, and I got a boyfriend, and I became pregnant when I was 17. And I always had in my mind, like when I was very younger, that I'm going to be a doctor. But nevertheless, when I got pregnant, I was like, people were like saying that, you know, if you get pregnant in high school, your life is over, you have no future, you're just going to be a mom, you're just going to be raising a child, you have to go find a job and all of those things. I was devastated. I was horrified. As you can imagine, for anybody who becomes pregnant when they're in high school, I'm sure nobody plans that. So it just kind of happened. It was a situation that I was in. However, I was determined to not let that define my future. And like 2 months, my son was born in November, and then December, in January the next year, I went back to finish my grade 12. I fell pregnant in grade 11, so I didn't finish my grade 11 year. I didn't even write grade 11 exams. I was accepted at a school in Bezuidenhoudt. And then I just went straight to grade 12, and I passed my grade 12 okay-ish. I had higher level subjects, and yeah, I passed okay-ish. So then I had applied to get into a South African university to study medicine. However, I didn't get in, but I also applied to the University of Namibia and I did get in. So I was doing a pre-med course because back then we didn't have medicine studies in Namibia. You couldn't study to become a doctor here in Namibia. And so I did a pre-med course, which is like a bridging course for 2 years that you can do at the University of Namibia before applying to get into medicine in South Africa. And I did the pre-med course. It was fun. I loved it. At this point in time, my parents were taking care of my son. He was staying with them. I would be driving back home to Swakop every second weekend, every other weekend. Even though my parents were raising him, I always knew that he was my son. And I always raised him as well as my son. And I always loved him, obviously, to the bottom of my heart as my son, and accepted him as my own. And he was sort of like my motivation, you know. I've been given this motivation, this person that I needed to work for. I think maybe God knows that I'm somebody who needs a reason to work for. If I don't have a reason to work for, then I probably maybe might not have the motivation to work towards anything. Maybe that's the kind of person that I am. I don't know. God knows me better. He knows every hair on your body. So God probably knows the person that I am, and he knew that I needed something to work for. Getting a degree is not enough for me. Getting a job is not enough for me. I needed something that would motivate me, that would push me so hard that I would never give up. And that was my son, JP. If I didn't have him, I probably wouldn't have been a chemical engineer today. If I didn't have him, I probably wouldn't have finished my degree, my engineering degree. I probably would have given up like after second or third year. Who knows what would have happened. But because I knew that I had my son, I knew I had to work to be able to take care of myself, to have a future, to be able to take care of my son. And that was my only drive and motivation back then. And yeah, so I was going to the University of Namibia and I really loved chemistry. And also I had a boyfriend at the time, and because I didn't want to do long distance relationships, I was a child, didn't know any better, but I was convinced myself that I don't want to go to South Africa to study medicine anymore. I now want to switch to chemistry, because the pre-med bridging course that I was doing, you were basically doing a Bachelor of Science microbiology and also chemistry subjects, and I really loved the chemistry subjects, and I was like, you know what, I want to study chemistry, blah blah blah. I spoke to my sister about it, and she said, well, why don't you consider chemical engineering? I guess, again, God puts people in your life for a reason. Because like, she knew my potential. She knew that I could handle an engineering degree. She knew that I was capable, that I was hardworking, that I would be disciplined, that I would be motivated, and all of those things. So she told me, why don't you apply to study chemical engineering? You know, thinking that chemical engineering is all about chemistry, which it kind of is a little bit, but yeah, anyway. So I decided I'm going to improve my subjects, improve on my matric subjects, so that I can get into a South African university to study engineering. And at the time you needed 42 points. And I had something like 38 points or something with my initial grade 12 marks. And so I decided I'm going to improve some subjects. I repeated math and physical science on higher level. You needed a 1 for math and physical science on higher level, and yeah, you needed 42 points. So I improved my subjects and I ended up getting 47 points, so I was allowed to gain entrance into the South African University to study chemical engineering at Stellenbosch University. And I did that. I went for my first year at Stellenbosch University. It was okay, you know, it was a lot of work. It was no joke. It was serious business. First year was okay. It was hard, but I made it. Second year was really difficult. It was really difficult, and I failed a lot of subjects in my second year. And even when I failed subjects in my second year, you know, I could have given up. I could have said, no, I don't want to do this. I'm going to study something else, blah, blah, blah. But I knew that I had my son back at home that I needed to work for. I knew that I had my son that was my motivation. I knew that I needed to get a degree, a good education, so that I am able to take care of him, you know, because his father was not in our lives at all. And yes, so he was my only motivation, the reason why I kept going. Whenever I felt like I wanted to give up, I just had to think of him and just push through, and I did it. I eventually graduated with my chemical engineering degree. If I tell you it was hard, that is an understatement, okay? It was super hard, and even in my third and fourth year, I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I was like, there's no way I can do this. This is too hard. And somehow I made it through. Somehow I made it through. I don't even know to this point. But like I said, if I probably didn't have JP, I would have given up as well. And, you know, one of the reasons that I kept on pushing through is because I was told that as an engineer, you can earn a really good income. So that was one of the reasons that I pushed through, because I wanted to earn a good income for my son. I didn't want to be struggling, you know. And so thank goodness for my supportive parents and my supportive family who was able to take care of him while I was studying. While I was a student, my parents would come visit me like 2 times a year, sometimes even more, and they would bring JP, and you know, we just had the best time in Cape Town, South Africa with my parents. Whenever they would come visit, and whenever it was a holiday for me, I would go back home. And yeah, just beautiful memories. I mean, some very hard, difficult memories, but also some very beautiful memories. And I graduated and I came home, and you know, I started to work, and I was exercising. I was in the best shape of my life. I lost so much weight. Like, I worked really hard. I worked for a oil and gas company, and I worked there for a whole year before I applied for a water treatment company, to work at a water treatment company. And I worked at that water treatment company for 5 years, but nevertheless, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves now. So I was working and living my best life, taking care of my son, living with my parents, going to church, very, very spiritually connected, very, very, not religious, spiritually connected to God, like drawing close to God, and just exercising, like just flourishing, you know, starting my career, everything. I was just everything. I had everything going for me. And then I met somebody. I met my ex-husband. Yeah, we met at the gym, blah, blah, blah. We started dating. And I moved into my own place. I went for an interview, got this job at the water treatment company. After getting that job, I moved into my own place. Yeah, I got married after like a year, sort of knowing my my ex-husband, my boyfriend at the time. We got married, and after we got married, before we got married, things were beautiful. Things were beautiful. When I say things were beautiful, it was like a dream come true. It was like perfect. It was like a match made in heaven. It was like just all the things falling into place. After we got married, things took a turn very quickly, like extremely quickly. So we got married in December. In January, my ex decided that he was going to study to become a pilot. And then, yeah, he was going to go and do it in South Africa. So I did take out a loan to kind of help with the registration fees, etc., etc. He did also have another sponsor that was paying for his studies and stuff. And he was supposed to be gone for 3 to 6 months. He ended up being gone for a year and 3 months or something like that. So yeah, it was hard. And the work that I was doing, I didn't have a lot of work experience, so I didn't earn a very big income. Also, the company did not start me off with a big, market-related engineering salary. No, they started me really low. Which, you know what, it was my experience. I had to go through that, and I will talk a little bit about that just now. But they started me really low. And so I had taken out a loan to pay for his initial registration and stuff. And then I had to take out more loans to help pay for additional flying hours because his flying hours had ran out, and additional accommodation for him because, he was supposed to stay 3 to 6 months and then ended up staying a year and 3 months. So I was paying rent on this side as well as rent on that side. And it was hard, to say the least. Like, I had a credit card that was maxed out, I had the personal loan, I had a revolving loan, I had an overdraft. Like, I was just completely overcommitted. I had a clothing store account as well, I had Ackermans as well, I had medical bills as well. I was just drowning in debt at that point, and just drowning, barely keeping my nose above water to just try and breathe. It was it was a difficult time. And then, during December, when we realized that he wasn't going to be home for Christmas, or he wasn't going to be done before Christmas.
Mama,
Yes, baby.
I want more chippies.
There's no more chippies. There's no more chippies. Can I get you some crackers?
Crackers? Yeah.
Okay. And cheese?
Oh yes! Cheese sticks and crackers.
Okay, let's go.
Give me the frizzy crackers.
Sorry. Willow put a sticker on me. I grabbed myself a snack, and Willow also. I got these animal cookies for her, but she doesn't like them, so I guess I get to eat them.
No. I mean, yeah. Hi guys.
Can you excuse me while I film my video, please?
Okay, I can't talk.
Please excuse me. I can finish, okay? I'll be right there. Okay. So.
You're my room servicer.
Okay. Okay. So basically, I was drowning in debt. It was hard. When we realized that he wasn't going to be home or done before Christmas, we made arrangements so that he could come and visit us. Right? So he came to visit in December. Willow was conceived. He went back in January to go and finish. Okay? So I was paying rent in 2 places, here and in South Africa. I was buying groceries in 2 places, here and in South Africa. And I was drowning in debt and bills and just everything. And at this point also I was pregnant. So imagine all of the hormones, being alone, pregnant alone. My entire pregnancy I was alone. So yeah. Anyways, literally 4 days before Willow was born, he came back from South Africa in September. He left the previous year, June, July, I can't remember exactly. He came the next year in September, like 3 days before Willow was born. Literally, I thought I was going to have to go into labor by myself. Anyway, he was here, you know, and Willow was born. I did not know at that time that I was married to a narcissist. I did not know. It was almost like when he came back with his private pilot license and after conceiving Willow, that he completely did a 360. If you know about narcissists and how they work, then you will know. It's like in the beginning, they will give you this beautiful relationship, love bombing. They call it the love bombing stage. Beautiful relationship, too good to be true. Wow, this person is so perfect, so kind, so loving, just everything you could ever imagine. And then once they have secured you or locked you down, like either marriage or having a child, they immediately change. They feel like now they have you and they don't have to pretend anymore. Now they have you, you can't go anywhere. Now they have you and they can be themselves, finally. So all the funny things, not the funny things, but all the beautiful things that they did in the beginning, they stopped doing that because that was never who they were. They were just doing that to get you to fall in love with them. They were just doing that to give you what you wanted. But that's not really who they are. And bear in mind that they lack empathy. They really lack empathy. And I did not know, obviously. I knew nothing at that time. I only found out about narcissism after my divorce, believe it or not. But when he came back, Willow was conceived, we were drowning in debt, everything like that. He didn't want to work unless he was doing a pilot job. But he only had a private pilot license. I couldn't afford to take out more loans to pay for a commercial pilot license. And he wasn't getting a bursary to go do his commercial pilot license. So he was kind of just like stuck, okay, so now what? I have to go and do a regular job or whatever. He didn't want to do that. I have to go back to do what I was doing before. I was went to study for a pilot. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do any job where he would be earning less than me because narcissists have an ego. So he didn't want to do that. So instead he was just like not gonna work. He didn't want to work. And I was drowning. I was working, I had a child. There was just no support coming from his side at all. And on top of that, he also convinced me to move to a bigger place. Bear in mind,
Please, not and wipe the table on it.
sorry, Willow wanted some juice. Okay, so he somehow convinced me to move to a bigger place. Bear in mind, my salary didn't increase, and the debt didn't go anywhere. The bills didn't go anywhere. However, our accommodation now doubled. Ne? We were paying rent like $4,000 a month, with water about $400 a month, and now we moved to a place where rent was $8,500 and water was anything from $1,000 to $1,500 a month that we had to pay. So we went from paying $4,400 up to $9,000 a month in rent, and income didn't go up. His income, he didn't get a job, a stable income, nothing like that. Odd few things here and there to help us get by, to be honest. Some of the times I had like $200, I was the one doing all the budgeting, obviously. I had sometimes like $200 to $400 a month left after paying bills and debt, which we needed to buy electricity with, we needed to fill up the car with, we needed to buy bread, you know, just food for the week. And I had to take on side jobs like tutoring so that I can get extra money, teaching grade 12, grade 10 maths and science and stuff. I had to sell my clothes, at the market just for $10, $20 to get like an extra $400 to get us by for the next week until end of the month or whatever. So I was doing everything I could. I was working hard. I was doing everything that I could to get more money. And then I was with this person who wasn't giving me love, wasn't showing me love, wasn't giving me support. He was giving me love, what he thought was giving me love, like he was massaging my feet, he was massaging my shoulders, whatever. But that again was just to give me a little bit of a taste of the guy that he pretended to be in the beginning, just long enough for me to keep quiet and not complain, etc., etc. So when we moved to this house, which was way more expensive, way above my budget, we moved in there, I think August. In December, I told him, like, I cannot anymore. I honestly cannot. I'm drowning. I need your help. I need you to go work. And he told me to my face, I will not go work. He told me to my face, ek sal nie gaan werk nie. He told me to my face. And it was at that exact moment where a light bulb switch went on in my head. And that light bulb switch was like that. My husband, I am not worthy for my husband to take care of me. I am not worthy for my husband to help me. I'm not worthy for my husband to support me. I'm not worthy for my husband to want to go work, to help take care of us, to build with me. The more I was trying to build us up, get us out of debt, the more he was digging the holes, getting us deeper into debt. And it was on that day where I realized that I'm not worthy for my husband to want to go work for me. Therefore, why am I still in this relationship? Why am I still in this marriage? I didn't expect him to take care of me fully. I was clearly capable of taking care of myself. However, I did expect him to support me. I wanted us to grow together, to build together, And he was telling everybody that I am a gold digger and I want the soft life. And because he couldn't give me the soft life, that's why I divorced him. Really, seriously. I can work for myself. I can earn an income. I'm a smart girl. I'm a hardworking girl. I can work for myself, I didn't want you to work for me and earn an income and take care of me. I wanted us to work together, support each other, But obviously that scenario doesn't work in his mind. In his mind, I wanted to be a soft life girl, stay at home, travel, do whatever, while he's the one that has to work. It was the opposite, actually. He wanted to stay at home and not work and live whatever life he wanted to live. And I must be the one working and taking care of everything else. Anyways, when that light bulb switched on in my head, it's almost like I went numb. Over the years, it was like 4 years at this point, almost 5 years at this point. It's almost like little by little, he was eating away at my love, with all the incidents, with all the things that was going on, with all the heavy burden that I was carrying, that he did not want to help me with, but that he was the main contributing factor to. It was just eating at my love away. And at this point in time where he looked me in my eye and said, ek sal nie gaan werk nie, like I will not go work, that was the moment that the light bulb switch went on in my head, and I was like, okay, clearly this relationship is not for me. Because I knew in my mind that because I was so spiritually connected to God. Remember, this person completely isolated me from my family, completely isolated me from the church, completely isolated me from God even. And I know you're probably going to say, no, that's all your fault. Well, I got so disconnected from God. But even though I got so disconnected from God, my foundation was so solid in Christ that I always knew that God wanted me to prosper. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Marriage is an absolutely beautiful thing. And I knew that God wanted me to have a happy marriage. I know marriage is hard, marriage struggles, whatever. I completely understand that. However, this was not normal marriage struggles. This was a narcissistic person taking advantage of an empathetic person. And, or how do you say that? Empathic person. A narcissist taking advantage of an empath. There was no, like, you know, we're working together, we're struggling together. There's, you're struggling, you're the only one who sees the problems, you've got issues, you can't handle stress, you, not me. So anyway, I was the problem in the marriage, apparently. And yeah, I got so depressed, so depressed after that. January, I got so depressed. I didn't want to exist anymore. And I always used to ask myself, and I sometimes still ask myself this, why was bored? Why? When I was just gonna get a divorce, you know? I was so mad at God for that, because I was so spiritually connected to Him. Why? And I felt like I was doing everything right. Like, why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to meet this person, marry this person, have a child with this person, and then divorce this person? Me being so connected to God that, and just having the thought of getting a divorce, feeling like, oh, that is so wrong, feeling the shame, embarrassment. You don't get divorced unless somebody's cheating, blah blah blah. But then, you know, I knew in my heart that God would want me to prosper. I always kept on thinking of the scripture, 3 John 1 verse 2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in good health, just as your soul prospers. 3 John 2 verse 1, something like that. And I pray that you may be in good health. I was not in good health. I pray that your soul may prosper. My soul was not prospering. And be good health. I mean, what does it say, beloved? I pray that you may prosper in all things. I was not prospering in all things. And so I just knew that I needed to get out of this. I knew I needed to get out of this. And I was so depressed because I was not there for my kids at all. I was like a zombie. I was walking around like a zombie. I was just like, I didn't want to exist anymore. And he was telling me, oh yeah, you're just a depressed person. You don't know how to handle hard situations. You don't know how to handle stress, blah, 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 blah. You, not me. And so I went to therapy looking for help. And I remember walking into my therapist's office that morning, and I told her, and I bursted out into tears crying, and I said, I think my husband and I want different things. You know, I accepted the fact that there's a possibility that we could want different things. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to support me. I don't know what he wanted at the time, but for me, I needed somebody who was going to help me, support me, work with me, be there for me, help me to grow. Not as I'm building, you are breaking down. As I'm digging us out of the debt, you're putting us into more debt, you know? Not somebody working against me. I wanted somebody to work with me. And I begged him to just help me with my burden just a little bit, and he couldn't empathize with me. He couldn't feel my pain, and he just told me straight to my face, no, I'm not going to go work. So I told her, I think I'm going to get a divorce, and my husband and I want different things. Obviously, at the time, I did not tell my husband that I said that to my therapist. I was just working through it. I also spoke to my pastor at the time, and I told him that we need to go see the pastor. He told me that he didn't want to go see the pastor, and the pastor told me I cannot do marriage counseling with one person. I need to both people there. Okay, understandable. My therapist said, okay, let's come in for couples therapy. We went in for the session. In that session, he was basically pointing all the fingers at me, how I was not making him feel like a man, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm the wrong and I'm the problem. At the end of the session, my therapist says, it's okay. I think I don't need to see you guys together for now. I just need to see like alone and work with him. And that was almost the point where he realized that, okay, there's no way that I can BS this person. This person is seeing that I need help, I need work. She needs to work with me, not with Gabby. Gabby's not the problem. And so he never went back for therapy. He went to go see a psychiatrist. I was seeing two people, Nadezhda Swanepoel as well as Dr. Van der Westhuizen, who's a psychiatrist, and he got medication prescribed and whatever else. He was on medication, and for him, that was his problem solved. He just needs to take the medication for the rest of his life, and he never has to worry again. So I kept on going for therapy for months and months and months. I gave him an ultimatum to say, I need you to get a job, help me. Otherwise, this is not going to work. I'm going to get a divorce. So I gave him that ultimatum, and I said, I'm going to give you 3 months. And within the first month, there was no change, no motivation, no drive, nothing that he was even going to do to try and get a job, not making a CV, nothing. I even came up to him and I said, look, we have a car. Let's use the car to drive school kids. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm a pilot, And I was like, okay, then I will do it because I need the money because I'm not surviving. So I would go to work, go drive the kids, drop the kids in the morning, rush to work, drive back, go pick up the kids, drop them off, rush back to work. And mind you, I needed to change cars because I was driving with my work car, drop them off, get the private car. It was just a crazy schedule that I was working now overtime. And mind you, I was also stressed at work, not a very healthy situation at work. So I had stress at work, I had stress at home, I had financial stress, I had stress everywhere. There was just nowhere where I had peace and safety and security. I suffered a burnout, I had depression, I didn't want to exist anymore. I was doing reckless things like going to swim at 5 o'clock in the morning while it's dark in the ocean, trying to think that the cold water is going to make me feel better, and when really it was just reckless behavior, because anytime the ocean could have just taken me in and pulled me in, I could swim, but I wasn't that good of a swimmer. And I wasn't that fit either. So anyway, I knew that I needed to get myself out of that situation. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there for my kids anymore. I wouldn't have been there for Willow. I wasn't a good mom. I was just a dead zombie. I couldn't give her the emotional attention and meet her emotional needs when my emotional needs weren't being met. And I was just like, dead zombie, whatever. So I was like, again, you see, why was she born? Because I needed the motivation. I needed the motivation because I knew if she probably wasn't there, who knows, I might not have been here today. But God knows that I'm the person that needs a little bit of something to work towards. I needed to work for my son to get my degree. I needed to work for my daughter to get through this next stage of my life, for both of them. And to be honest, when I was married, I also neglected my son a lot. But that is a story for another day. Anyway, like I said, he wanted to isolate me from everyone and everything that was bringing me happiness, bringing me joy, so that he can just keep me, control me all to himself. Okay, nevertheless, that happened, and After the first month, there was no change. You know, I was doing 2 jobs at that point, driving the kids. Then finally he said, okay, he'll pitch in, he'll drive the kids. But it was so sloppy and irresponsible. He was constantly late, leaving the kids late, constantly letting the car stand without petrol. Then I have to come and bail him out with kids in the car, school kids in the car. And I was just tired of please explaining to the kids' parents. So I just said, you know what? It's okay, let's just not do that anymore. Let's just not do that even anymore. Because I constantly have to say, why are you late? You're late again. You have to go get the kids. The car is standing without petrol, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was just draining. So, and he was still doing nothing at this point to try and get a job. So, finally, I told him, you know what? There was no change in the first month. Why do I even need to bother to give you 3 months? Why? There's nothing's gonna happen from. It's almost like a second light bulb went on. The first light bulb went on when he told me to my face, I'm not gonna go work. The second light bulb went on when I realized that he didn't do any effort in the first month. What makes me think that he's gonna do anything, any effort, if I even give him 3 months? So I decided I'm just gonna let go. I decided to give notice at the place that we were staying at, which I couldn't afford, and move to a cheaper place, which I could afford. And I told him he's not moving with me. And he labeled me like, you know, he labeled me all sorts of things. Like, but he moved with me to this new place, and he snuck his way in there. Like, first he was like, oh, I'm just gonna help you guys move, make sure that you guys are settled in, blah blah blah. And then he would just never leave at night. He would just like sleep on the couch. And to the point where I was like, you know what, I lived there for 3 months, and then I gave notice at that place, and then I moved in with my parents because I was like, you know what, you're not gonna move in with me into my parents' house. And I told him I'm gonna give him 6 months, where he needs to show me that he can support me. He's gonna bring his side. He's gonna get a job. He's gonna get a license, whatever, change, whatever, you know, just bring his side. So he told everybody that we're getting a separation just so that we can both work on each other separately, and then after the 6 months we'll come together again and then see from there. In my mind, I was sort of giving him a chance to prove me wrong, even though I already knew that in those 6 months nothing is going to change. So I was giving him a chance to prove me wrong, and he didn't prove me wrong. Come January that year, I went to go look for a divorce lawyer, and I started the process to get a divorce. I paid my deposit. I paid $15,000 for my divorce. There was no back and forth fighting. He pushed for shared custody. I could have pushed for full custody, but I didn't want to fight. I wanted to get it over as soon as possible. And also I didn't want to keep his daughter away from him. Like, I had no reason to do that. So even though I was told multiple times that he will use her to try and control me, and he has tried that, but I just tell him, like, anyways, the things that I know now, he doesn't get to me. He can't get to me because I know he's textbook narcissist. Like, I know his behaviors already. Textbook narcissist. Everything that he does, the gaslighting, the manipulating, every single thing, textbook narcissist. Anyways, but I didn't know it at the time still. So I filed for my divorce. I was still in therapy. At this point, I was on antidepressant medication because I had no will to exist. So the antidepressant medication was just helping me get by. I quit my job. I was so depressed at my job, so unhappy at how I was being treated and stuff. And yeah, I quit everything. I quit everything. It kind of feels like I quit my marriage, I quit my job. Almost feels like I quit on life. And the medication, the antidepressant medications were just helping me to go by. And obviously therapy. I was in therapy. Thank God for therapy that time. if it weren't for those two people, I owe them honestly my life, and I will never forget them, and I will be forever grateful to those two people who helped me to get through this. Nadezhda Swanepoel and Dr. van der Westhuizen. I will be forever grateful to those two people for helping me get through this. And also Nikki Meyring. I did see her also sometimes. She also helped a lot. But anyway, filed for divorce. The divorce was easy. Like, he told me, when I told him I'm getting a divorce, the people are going to bring the papers to him. He was like, sure, bring the papers. Where must I sign? I'll sign any day. I was about to leave you anyway. Obviously, I knew that that was not the case. And yeah, he told people that I wanted the soft life and he couldn't give me the soft life. That's why I filed for divorce. But really, I filed for divorce because he was a narcissist. Didn't know it at the time, but I just knew I needed more support, and he wasn't going to give it to me, and I wasn't going to get that from him. But again, wouldn't have gotten through that if I didn't have Willow and if I didn't have JP. They were my motivators. They were what I was working for. They were what I was holding on for. I was holding on to them for dear life, knowing that I needed to survive for them, knowing that I needed to work for them. And you know, when resigning, I worked for 5 years, so I was able to get a pension. I used that pension to pay off most of my debt. I couldn't cover all of it, but I did pay off most of my debt. I was out of a job for 2 months, but really those 2 months were just for me to rest, to heal, to get better. After those 2 months, I got a job as a health and safety specialist at another oil and gas company. And everybody was like, you're an engineer. Why are you doing health and safety work? Like, shouldn't you be doing engineering work? Like, what are you doing here? Little did they know that this was just my healing phase. You know, I just needed a job so that I could earn an income to continue to pay off the rest of my debts and stuff. I was lucky enough to be able to stay with my parents. So I just needed a job to have an income. I didn't care what the job was going to be. And I really enjoyed the health and safety work, to be honest. And I would have continued in that line of work. But obviously God had a plan already for me. And the health and safety work that I took, I was earning like, I can't even remember, half of what I was earning at my previous job. It was so little, I can't even remember. Like, I took a half pay cut, but I didn't care at that time. I was living with my parents, so I didn't pay rent. I just needed a little bit of income and just to survive, you know, just to be able to pay for my medical aid, get my medications and stuff. And at that point I was still on antidepressants, and also to be able to still finish paying for my divorce. The month that I started at this new job was August, and the month that I got my divorce finalized was also August. So I feel like August was me closing all previous chapters in my life and starting a new chapter. And I was happy to be working where I was working. I was happy to be earning the salary that I was earning. I was grateful. Oh, thank you, baby. You're so sweet.
This is why I decided to wash the dishes myself.
Oh, thanks, lovey. Thank you so much. You're the best.
You're welcome.
She's so sweet, guys. Anyways, I was just living my best life at this point in time. I was on a healing journey. I was grateful for the job that I had. I was grateful for everything at that point in my life. And I even started going to church again. Now, when I went to church, I felt very ashamed. I felt so much shame, embarrassment, like I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel connected to God because I felt this pain. I felt like, why did I have to get a divorce? Why did you let that happen? I was mad. So I stopped going to church entirely. But obviously my foundation in Christ is so deep rooted in me that, yeah, it's going to take way lot more than that to get it out of me. Still knew that God wanted me to prosper. And yeah, I was just happy where I was for a time being. There came a point in time where I realized that, okay, I deserve more. I deserve more, and I deserve to prosper. And where I was at, the job that I was doing was not allowing me to prosper, and it was not allowing me to move forward. You know, like I said, I took a half pay cut. And for that time being, while I was healing, it was okay for me. I was more than happy to be there. But then I was more than happy to be there until I wasn't. And when I wasn't, I knew I needed to make another plan to find a different job. And I started applying everywhere. I even started applying overseas and stuff. I even did a project management course to help me get jobs and stuff. And then I applied for an HSE, health and safety implementer position at another oil and gas company. And I got the interview. I do. Don't use too much soap, Baba. Okay, thanks. And so I got a job I got an interview at this other oil and gas company for a health and safety implementer. They interviewed me. I thought I did very bad in the interview, but they seemed to like me, and they called me a week later and they said, "Hi, we have this other position that we have in mind for you. Can I send you the job description and you can read through and see if you like it? Then let me know and then we'll interview again." I'm like, another interview? I was just like, okay, fine, great. They sent me the job description. I was like, yes, I'm interested. Please interview me. So I did another interview with them. I got the job. Whoa, sorry, I was gonna get so emotional. I was doing fine until this point. I got the job, and the job was in Windhoek, and I was like, okay, if my next chapter is in Windhoek, I'm okay. I'm ready to move to Windhoek and start new. My salary is like, I don't know, multiple times more in this job than in my previous two jobs. And you know, when they asked me for my salary expectation, I was completely open and transparent with them. I showed them what I was earning at the current job, and I showed them what I was earning at my previous job. Like, I sent them my pay slips. But I did tell them that, you know, I believe that I'm worth much more than what these people were paying me. And happy tears, happy tears. I moved to Windhoek. I mean, I'm sure you guys watched some of my previous update videos where I was crying, where I was saying I'm moving to Windhoek, as well as the previous one where I was giving you an update on how life is in Windhoek. But I love this job that I have now. There is never a dull moment. There's always something to do. People are so respectful and kind. My co-workers are so respectful and kind, and just great people, hardworking people, motivated people. And I get to travel a lot, which I absolutely love. I get to travel so much. And also I work a lot and I work hard. Like, there's no jokes with this company. You really have to be hardworking and motivated and really push and grind, which I absolutely love. Like, there's never a dull moment. There's never a day where I'm bored. There's always, okay, I'm almost done, then I'm coming. There's never a dull moment. There's always something to do. I'm never bored, you know, which is great. And the way they treat people is just completely different to the way that I have been treated in the past by some of my previous employers, you know. The benefits that we have, I have a car allowance. I bought a beautiful, beautiful car that I'm so grateful for. That I get to travel from to work and back every single day, and I get to go pick up my daughter and take her to school and take my son to Swakop, take my mom to Swakop and drive back. You know, I just realized today how blessed I am for having my own car. That because some people have to walk and go get a taxi, and people are getting robbed in the morning while they're trying to go to work or school. And I am blessed enough to live in a secure complex with a beautiful 2-bedroom flat that I absolutely love, even though I have to move out of here soon, but that's okay. I'll find another beautiful home for us and a safe home for us, and I was able to afford things. I was able to treat myself and spoil myself with massages and beautiful clothes that I could have never imagined that I would be able to afford, you know, back in the day. And I get to travel so much, like the places that I saw this year. I don't know. It was so beautiful. I got to take a trip to the north, to Katima, and I've never been there before, and it was beautiful. And then just recently I got to take a trip to the south, to Waranyamunt and to Ludritz, and I've also never been there, and it was so beautiful. And when we were driving, I was just reflecting and thinking how grateful I am and how happy I am right now. And you know, I just wanted to encourage you today, if there is anything that you take away from this video. Sometimes when you are wondering, why is nothing getting better? Why am I stuck here? Why am I not growing? Why am I going through this struggle? Why am I going through so many struggles? Sometimes it's just, God is not denying you the beautiful things. He's not denying you to grow and to prosper. He's just saying, not right now. He's just saying, not right now, because why couldn't I travel when I was married? Why couldn't I afford beautiful things for our family when I was married? God, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time.
See, Mama, look. Good as new.
Thank you. High five. You work really hard. Good job.
Why are you tearing?
It's happy tears. I'm just telling a story, and it's reminding me of some things, and I'm grateful for all the blessings that we have, and so it's happy tears. Okay, I'll come check.
Come check.
Okay, I'll come. I'm almost done, I promise.
Come now.
Please? Okay. Sorry, I just quickly had to go and look at her wash the dishes. Anyways, what I was saying is, sometimes God is not saying no to your prayers. God is not answering your prayers. He's just saying, not right now. He knows the right time. Sometimes you just have to be patient. I know it's hard, and in those moments it might feel like you're never going to get through this, or things are horrible and God is not listening to you, He's not answering your prayers. Just trust that everything will happen in God's time. He knows what you need before you even think you know what you need. Trust me, God already knew that I needed the little motivators that He gave me in my life. My 2 little motivators. He knew that I needed those little motivators. That's why He gave me one when I was 17. And that's why He gave me one now, because He knew I needed those little motivators. Oh, He knows, God knows what you need before you even know what you need. And maybe He's just saying, not right now. Just be patient. Keep your faith. Yeah, that is basically all I wanted to say, is just how grateful I am, how blessed I am, how lucky I am to be here. And I just wanted to share my story with you guys and also vent a little bit and cry a little bit so that I can feel better. Goodness, because I've been holding up these emotions of gratitude, because when we were driving, I was telling some of my co-workers a little bit of my story and reflecting, and I just realized how grateful I am, because if I had gotten this job while I was married, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the things as much as I am enjoying them now. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the trips that I'm enjoying, and there would have just been a lot of insecurities and questions and fighting and constant, anyways, God knows the right time. And I don't know what the future holds. I just have strong faith that from here on in, I'm just going to be moving up, moving forward, building, and working for my little motivators. Yeah, that is basically it. That is a little bit of my story. And I just wanted to tell you guys, don't give up. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to vent so that I can feel better. I'm gonna go and give my daughter some much love and attention and probably clean up a big mess in the kitchen, and then we're gonna have a lovely dinner, and I'm gonna have a warm shower. I'm gonna feel much better, and I'm gonna feel focused and motivated to do
Mama,
all the work that I need to
I am
do.
washing the zinc.
Bye!
Mama, I am washing the zinc and it's good as new. Are you done now?
Yes, I'm done. Come here.
You can watch TV.
Thank you for being so patient with me.
You can watch TV while I do the dishes.
Can I relax while you do the dishes?
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Well, I know that you're gonna get tired while you have a runny nose and you're coughing.
Yeah.
You're sick, so maybe you can sit down on the couch and watch TV while I make the dishes.
I just had a runny nose because I was crying a little bit. But guess what? It's happy tears. It's not sad tears. It's happy tears. Okay? It's happy tears.
I know you have a runny nose and you are coughing, so I decided to wash the dishes while you can watch TV and sit on the couch.
Oh, thank you, Willow Bear. You're so sweet.
And I'll give you fishy crackers.
You're so sweet. Thanks. I love you.